Welcome. If you're a woman who has a sense that there's more out there for you, you're in the right place. I'm Whitney Baker, host of the Electric Ideas podcast. Somewhere along the line of work and kids, life carried on, but I lost track of my truth. I'm on a reflective journey, and that's what this podcast is all about. Each week, I interview a woman who is lighting her own path and offering others hope. Before our conversation ends, we'll share a reflective question for you to explore. Sometimes all we need is a jolt, a fresh idea, an aha moment that connects us to a sense of possibility. This, my friends, is what I call an electric idea. Welcome back to Electric Ideas. I'm your host, Whitney Baker, and this is a mini jolt, a short episode where I share quick tips and reflections to light you up with a greater sense of what's possible for you and your life. Today, we're going to talk about my perspective on what aligned action is, taking actions in your life that reflect your values and priorities, and how to know if you're taking it or maybe not. To help us distinguish, let's start with what aligned action is not. So in my mind, there's 3 types of actions that we commonly take. 1, no action. 2, forced action. And number 3, what we're going for here is aligned action. Okay, so let's start with no action. This is when we're in that mode of I'm stuck or I'm overwhelmed, or maybe you're hanging on really tight to lots of excuses like the I don't have time excuse, or it's too much. I don't know how to start. Trust me, I have been there. Sometimes it is the best thing to do to just let the dust settle, get clarity before taking action. But please remember that not taking action is also a choice, an action, if you will. So in my experience, if you're in this state, it's usually better to just kind of pick a horse and try something and get feedback, see how it feels, versus staying in this stuck zone and hoping somebody's going to swoop in and magically identify all your hidden talents and passions and tell you what to do, or that you're all of a sudden going to have all this clarity. Taking action that feels good usually is what leads you to clarity. So no action is also a choice. Then we have number 2, which is forced action. This is when we're in full-blown human doing instead of human being mode, where for many of us, it might feel like controlling. It might feel like proving yourself, overperforming, doing. And oftentimes, just because we're doing stuff doesn't necessarily mean it's serving us or moving us towards anything. And this can be a terrible feeling, because if you feel like you're crossing things off the list and putting out fires and muscling through, and you feel busy, but it's not in line with your growth or your passions or the good of the world or your callings, you're just checking things off the list and being air quotes productive, but you're not satisfied. This is maybe a time to think about how much of your action is forced. I get that we all sometimes just need to get things done, and there's different seasons, but I believe that we're all worthy of a life that feels bigger than just getting by or muscling through. Now we get to the fun part, the inspired action. So in order to take what I call inspired action, you have to be willing to take stock of what's important to you right now and start showing up in at least some small ways day to day in your life that feel aligned. Well, I think it's such a worthy exercise to figure out your long-term values. Sometimes that can just feel daunting or lofty, and people just shut down. And part of my purpose is to make introspection fun for women, so they actually do it. Nobody wants a snooze fest or a pie in the sky, because I know you won't take action on it, right? So here's your path forward. Let's ratchet down the pressure and just think of this in a very short-term way. Ask yourself right now, without overthinking it, what's most important to me right now in this season? Please don't edit yourself or put the weight of the world on your answer. Hint, hint, you don't have to choose family because it feels socially acceptable. It's okay to have seasons in your life where creative fulfillment feels really exciting and important to you, or maybe claiming a sense of freedom because you're drowning in life logistics and calendar alerts. So pick one value. It can be something like family or health, if that's what came up for you, or it can just be a word like fun, calm, joy, connection. Pick one thing, okay? Make a decision right now. Okay. Next, you're going to picture where you realistically are with this value right now in your life. How are you doing? Just be honest with yourself without judgment. How are you actually living out this value in your life right now? Because you kind of got to be realistic about where you're at and where you're starting. Now, visualize in your head or write it down what it would look like to live out that value more truly in your life right now. Not in your future life, not when you peel off to a desert island. In your messy, real human circumstances, what would it look like if you were really prioritizing this one value in your life this season? Would it impact what you cooked or how you spent your weekends? Would it influence what you say yes to or no to, plans you accept, people you see? How would it look lived out in your day-to-day right now? I know my best days when I fall into bed with satisfaction and feel like I'm getting something right, are days when I proactively create space to take aligned action and make that equally as important as all the other demands in my life. People will always want your time and your energy and attention. That's not going to change. If you want to take aligned action regularly, you have to be radically responsible for it yourself. You have to get out your calendar and before your month gets scheduled for you, see where you can put your own plans in place first. This could look as simple as a 10-minute walk a couple days a week, or starting your time with your family in the morning with 5 minutes of connection versus slipping into cruise director mode. Whatever it is, keep it simple and let it be something that feels exciting for you to do. Even if it's just a few small, regular things you can do to make sure you're living out this identified important value for this season in your life, it is such a rewarding feeling when we know what we're after and we're not just reacting to that water hose of other people's needs or throwing spaghetti at the wall. I know from engaging with so many women in the Electric Ideas community that we all have scars. We all have something we're working through. Many of us are carrying something major right now, like caregiving for a sick child or relative, or navigating a partner, losing a job. It's not easy, but I would argue these might be times when we need aligned action the most. We want to show up for the people we love feeling resourced, not resentful. So promise me you'll give this a try. Practice prioritizing aligned action in the same way you would the rest of your to-do list. Give it a try. See what happens. Whether I'm connecting with a guest or it's just me, I end each show with a reflective question. And here's what I have for you today. What do I value most right now in this season? And knowing this value, what's one small inspired action I can take today? If you enjoyed this episode, I'd love to hear from you directly. You can DM me at Whitney Woman, or you can email me at whitney@myelectricideas.com and tell me what inspired action you took. Maybe I'll even share it out with the community because it never hurts to have extra ideas and get inspired by seeing other like-minded women living out their values in small ways every day. Thanks for tuning in. I'm so glad you joined me today. If you're looking for more, feel free to connect with me on Instagram at @WhitneyWoman. And if you enjoyed the show, I invite you to support me by leaving a review or sharing it with a friend. Hope you have an inspired day.